Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of For FSU Weather. I'm student meteorologist Erin Clanahan.
And I'm student meteorologist Bianca Hernandez.
And you know what? It's starting to become the end of November already, and it's almost the end of hurricane season. It kind of seems like it's been dragging out for a long time.
We only have 11 days left. It's crazy,
I feel like it's been,
though.
So you feel like it's gone by fast.
I feel like it went by so fast.
And I feel like it's been dragging on forever. I think just because we haven't had that much to talk about, but actually, we have a late bloomer out there.
Yeah, we may have our last storm of the season. Her name's Melissa, but she's a fish storm.
She is. That means all a fish storm means is that it's not expected to affect land at all. So it's going to stay out in the Atlantic Ocean.
Only
it's very far away. And it's actually a little different than a lot of the other storms because it's partially subtropical and partially tropical. So that means it has characteristics of both.
Both tropical features and non-tropical features. And also it has a really low center pressure of 982 millibars, which is really low.
It is really low. And it is strengthening. It's in an area of little wind shear, so that means there's not a lot of strong winds from the bottom of the ocean to the upper part of the atmosphere. So it's able to keep that spin and keep that intensity. And right now it has sustained winds of 65 miles per hour, but probably gusting up a little bit higher.
Gusting up. It is supposed to strengthen over the days. Like Erin just mentioned, there's not a lot of stuff to break it apart right now.
Right, and especially since it's not passing through any mountainous terrain like they usually do in the Caribbean, it can also strengthen because of that. But we're going to take a check with our overview right now with Jay.
Thanks, Erin. We're going to take a look at our headline for today. It's cool tomorrow like it was today, so make sure you have that light jacket handy. But also make sure you bring those umbrellas because temperatures do go up tomorrow. When we take a look at the quick warm-up, it's going to be warming up a little bit more, so you may not need that light jacket after tomorrow. And we see some weekend sprinkles, so unfortunately when we say game day, rain chances are still going to be prevalent, so make sure you have little ponchos handy just in case. When we take a look at the current winds, there's a few gusts over in Tallahassee and Quincy, but for the most part, the wind's starting to die down a little bit more, so it's bringing a nice cool breeze to cool us off when the temperatures go back up later on in the week. And we see tonight's forecast, we see 47 degrees, we see some clouds, and it is going to get a little bit cooler as well. So if you're going to go out tonight, make sure you bring that light jacket. And if you, like me, get cold really easy, make sure you have the Naryan jacket. Let's bring it back to the desk.
Thank you, Jay, and we're going to stay with the tropics theme, and we're going to talk about one way back in the day in November of 1999.
Yeah. Well, it's referred to as Wrong Way Lenny because usually the storms travel from east to west, but this strange creature was traveling from the west to the east, which is odd.
Yeah, that's very odd for the tropics. I mean, you would notice it when you look at the models. They all come from the Atlantic and travel towards the west, but Lenny had a mind of its own, but it was a strong one.
Oh, yeah. It killed 17 people, and it made landfall in the U.S. Virgin Islands as a Category 4 hurricane.
Right, so it's much stronger than this tropical storm we have right now, Melissa. This storm had sustained winds of 155 miles per hour and caused $685.8 million in damage. So
could you imagine that? That's crazy.
And so even though Wrong Way Lenny was a little bit crazy with its path, it was still very strong and was able to maintain that intensity to cause all of that damage. But now we're going to see what's going on locally in Tallahassee with Jason.
Thank you, Erin. Speaking about cooler things rather than tropics, well, today, now in the backyard of Tallahassee, quite a chilly start to the morning. Reached into the mid-40s this morning. As we did warm things up, though, look at a beautiful day around Tallahassee. Local radar not showing very much in the area and brightening out the region. Most of southeast actually dominated by the high pressure today. Sitting a very nice day, mostly sun. Only some clouds associated into southern portions of Florida where that cold front is beginning to make its way on through, and they have a few showers associated with it. But overall, Tallahassee looking very beautiful today. Into the west, though, the forecast shows some clouds that could be the reason. That could be our upcoming forecast. I'll get to you in a second. Current conditions as of 6 o'clock, 64 degrees, clear skies. Of course, you see that moon up in the sky. Dew point quite low, though, lower than normal. The 42-degree dew point help factor in 45% humidity. So, hence, it's very dry outside rather than we seeing those dew points in the 50s. Dew points currently around the Big Bend region, like I said, sitting into the mid-40s. And like I said, we're going to be seeing dry conditions more than recently. Although this thing is going to start changing into the next few days. And the reason why, well, we see these winds begin to change. They're becoming easterly, and when they do, they'll funnel in more of these creamy colors, and the creamy colors indicate some moisture in the upper levels of the atmosphere. And what this means is more clouds could be in the region region going to the next few days, and maybe a chance or two of some isolated showers. So, of course, you get to that in the forecast. So, see, like I said, once again, I'm showing you a surface map of what's exactly happening. These winds out of the northeast will begin to shift more easterly, and this will give a lot more cloud cover and hence moisture in the region. So it'll help maybe kick up an isolated sprinkle or two going through the next few days. So we have chances of forecast of these rain at least going into the weekend. So folks, certainly I would say bring the umbrella just to be safe. If you're going to work, you could be hitting the isolated shower. The Adonis radar, though, our models are showing that most of the showers will once again remain easterly shores of Florida. We could see a spotty shower or two. Tallahassee could be getting a quick up or two of showers into the region. So certainly the next few days, I would say bring out your umbrella just to be safe. You don't want to be caught in that isolated shower. The beach forecast, tomorrow the winds will be slightly kicking up a little, northeast at 10-20 miles an hour. This will help kick up the surf to around 5 feet almost. So hence, small craft advisories tomorrow. Exceed with caution. If you're going to have these light to moderate chops, well, some small crafts could, of course, have some problems with this. So hence, you need to exercise a little more caution than normal. Waves at 2 to 5 feet, though, if you're heading out to the boat, doing some fishing of some sorts. And sunrise setting at 7:02 a.m. Heading into tonight's forecast, though, once again, temperatures will be dropping down into the mid-40s, 47 degrees for Tallahassee. A little cooler up north in Quincy at 44 degrees. Some clouds will linger around, though. Beautiful night, once again, chilly. Bring out the jacket. Tomorrow's forecast, 69 degrees. Still, let's say, one of those milder days in Tallahassee, 69. So it's a more fall-like seasonal day. But heading in the next 7 days, though, that's when things could be kicking up a little. A lot more cloud cover into the region. So those chances of rain do linger around until we see that cold front come through on Saturday. And after that, another cool down. Look at that. Monday morning, 35 degrees. Jack, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, Jason, talking about those cool temperatures, let's take a look at today's low that we saw earlier this morning. You can really pick out where that cold front is lingering around. Our low only at 69 degrees in Orlando, but just make your way up the I-75 corridor, head west onto I-10. Tallahassee, we're seeing at 49 earlier this morning. Atlanta, some cooler Arctic air in your region. 41 was your low today. So chilly conditions. And for most of this eastern viewing area, for most of the day, we've been really clear across the eastern parts, but we're getting some cloud coverage making its way into northern parts of Birmingham, into Montgomery, as well into Atlanta, and those clouds will linger, but will be a nice blanket for tonight to keep those warmer conditions for our lows in Atlanta and Montgomery. Currently, though, all across the southeast, 64 for us in Tallahassee, 58 degrees in Montgomery, 54 degrees in Atlanta. Warm conditions down into the spine of Florida, 73 in Orlando, and 75 degrees in Miami. And I expect some temperatures to drop down as we make our way later into night. Currently, our winds are mainly out of the north, 3 miles per hour out of the north in Tallahassee. That's really helping funnel in some colder conditions for us tonight. But as we make our way into the future cast, we'll have those northerly winds start shifting out of the east. And when you get those easterly winds, that's when you get a spike of the moisture in the air. So we'll have some isolated sprinkles making its way into Wednesday afternoon, and we'll linger into Thursday, and we'll have a next approaching system of a cold front coming in the region into Friday. Future cast of rain shows us that we'll have some rain hugging the coast into Orlando as well as into Savannah. As we make our way into Wednesday afternoon, we could see a sprinkle here in Tallahassee. I don't think we'll see anything too serious as we make our way into Thursday. Some more sprinkles covering around the Duval area into Jacksonville and Ponte Vedra, but nothing too serious. I think really when we see those rain chances start spiking up will be on Friday and into Saturday for the lower part of the southeast. Tonight, though, what can we expect? 38 degrees for us in Atlanta, 45 degrees for us in Tallahassee, 41 degrees in Savannah, and that cold spot of 35 degrees is what we're expecting in Wilmington. Tomorrow's forecast, though, could see highs into the upper 60s, 69 for us here in Tallahassee, 66 in Montgomery, 82 degrees down in Miami, and 81 will be our high in Key West. But the girls, that was the southeast, but I heard you guys got some stories about the Midwest.
Oh yeah, Jack, we do. I'm sure many of you heard about the tornado outbreak that occurred on Sunday this past weekend. Well, unfortunately for them, a bunch of them have power outages, and there's this huge Arctic air mass making its way southward right now. And all these people are worried about how they're going to maintain warmth.
Exactly. It's a really unfortunate situation because not only do a lot of people not have power, but some of them have even been left homeless. So when you have these temperatures coming, the highs are only going to be in the teens. Those are the highs. So the lows likely below zero.
Yeah.
No warmth. It's really unfortunate.
It's crazy. Like right now, the air mass is around Alaska, northern Canada, and they're seeing temperatures between 10 and 50 degrees below zero, which, wow, burr.
Right. No, okay.
Burr.
So we have the cooler temperatures, you said way below zero, but what really gets to people is that wind chill. So you have really gusty winds up to 40 miles per hour. Mixed with those cooler temperatures, that's when you get the dangerous levels.
Oh, yeah. Now, back to the wall. To the wall.
Thanks so much. Let's go ahead and take a look at your satellite and radar here. Across the United States, we see that there is some cloud cover in the Gulf of Mexico. We'll be talking about that in a little bit associated with it. Some disturbance, we'll keep our eyes on that for some rain potential in that part of the country, maybe impacting areas around New Orleans. Some snow in northern Idaho as well. We'll be talking about that coming up. And current snow cover, we see that there is some light to moderate snow cover in western Montana, just west of Billings, just west of Helena as well. Some snow cover in that area, as there has been some snow accumulation. Now, current conditions across our nation at the present time, we see that there is 65 degrees in Dallas, 70 in San Antonio, and this gives a good indication that of some lower temperatures. In fact, we see 36 degrees in Detroit, 39 degrees in Boston, lower temperatures in that part of the country, and we'll be watching that as that'll eventually start to shift into our area. Not near as cold as that, but we will watch that for you here as those temperatures do shift. Now, 37 degrees in Minneapolis is a wind chill right now, but by Saturday, expect wind chills in that area as low as about 0 degrees. Very cool conditions up there. Wind chill is a combination of wind and temperature. Now, your 24-hour temperature change, we see that they have increased in Minneapolis, though that temperature situation will start to decrease. We see temperatures southeast cooling off as well, also the northeast. 17-degree temperature disparity in Washington, D.C. Now, your satellite and radar in the northeast, we see some snow occurring in parts of the northeast, affecting areas in parts of Maine and also parts of Vermont. In fact, we're watching that situation closely as they could get a little bit of snow accumulation up toward that area. We'll watch that. Also, areas around Idaho getting impacted with some snow cover as well. We're watching that closely in that area. Your southeast showing some clear conditions. In fact, in areas around Florida, nice conditions there. Now, as we go ahead and take a look at that disturbance we were talking about earlier, some rain associated with that. We'll keep our eyes on that to see if it impacts areas around Louisiana. But in tonight's forecast, we'll see your temperatures 51 degrees in New Orleans, very cool in Tallahassee tomorrow at 45 degrees, and tomorrow 69 degrees in Tallahassee, warming up. But right now we'll take it over to a look at the local forecast with Bianca.
Thank you, Casey. Now let's take a look at what's going on right now. It's been clear and beautiful, so I hope all of you guys are enjoying this because it's not going to last for long. Now let's take a look at this upper level disturbance right here. You can already see all that moisture that will be making its way towards our area by tomorrow, so definitely bring an umbrella if you need it. But currently right now the satellite and radar, perfectly clear. You can start seeing a little bit of the clouds coming in from that upper level disturbance, but other than that, it's still beautiful. And for right now, beautiful temperature. We can really see the cold front that just passed by, and we're feeling more of this fall-like weather, and we're seeing 64 degrees and this very low humidity. Right now the humidity is only 45%, which is awesome compared to what we've been seeing lately. And our winds were coming from the north, still some of them. In Tallahassee, we're still getting more of a northerly wind, but that's going to change. We're going to start to see more of an easterly flow. And for our current dew point, our dew point right now is 42, a great indication of what the low temperature is going to be like tonight. And in areas around Tallahassee, everyone's pretty much seeing 45 degree dew points, but areas closer to the Gulf with more moisture are seeing a little bit higher dew points. For our futurecast, right now, high pressure dominating the area. So we're seeing more of this northeast easterly flow from the high. And tomorrow, on Wednesday, a few isolated sprinkles from the upper level disturbance that I mentioned. And that's about it for tomorrow's forecast. But for tonight, definitely bring a sweater. We're going to see 47 degrees, some clouds, so a little bit cooler than what we've been seeing lately. And for tomorrow's forecast, few breaks of isolated showers, 70 degrees. It's beautiful still, except for the little rain showers that we are going to see. And for our day planner, grab a jacket tomorrow and breezy conditions. And let's take it back to the desk.
Thanks, Bianca. Let's dive right into history today.
That's right, Jay. taking a look in Minneapolis, in fact, on this day in 1981, we seen 12 inches of snow, and that was the wet and heavy wet variety, in fact, and this caused the Metrodome roof to collapse. Back then, it collapsed later on, just in the last couple of years, in that area.
Yes, I know they bring a new term to bringing a house down. Well, snow brought it down this time.
Yeah, and very serious situation in that area, in that region, in fact, up there in the north central part of the nation. Now, moving out west a little bit in Utah, in 1979, in fact, there was 29 inches of snow in Alta, Utah.
That is a lot of snow for that area, a record for not most of the area right there. So I know if I was there, I would not be a happy camper. Showing off that snow is not a fun task at all.
That's right. You don't normally have to do that. Though luckily in Florida, haven't had really any measurable snow in a very long time. In fact, in the region, it's been at least about 10 years or so, in fact. Now, as we take a look, and we'll even transition further west, we're taking a look at Mauna Kea, Sugar County in Hawaii.
Yes, they got 2 degrees of rain total, supposedly there.
2-day rain totals, in fact, reached up toward areas like 2 feet. In fact, areas around Hilo, Hawaii, seen 18.74 inches of rain. A very serious situation, caused some pretty serious flooding in that part of the nation. But right now, we'll go ahead and take a look around the state of Florida with Aaron.
In the form of rain showers coming in from that stationary front that has kind of stalled out across South Florida. So even though we are clear in Tallahassee, not everyone is quite as lucky as us. You can see that perfectly here on our current conditions. We're seeing clear skies and cool conditions in Tallahassee, 64 there. A little bit cloudier in Jacksonville. They have some clouds there, 59 degrees. But South Florida, completely different from North Florida. They're at 77 with some showers in Fort Myers, 76 in Palm Beach, and 75 in Miami. And not only are they a little bit warmer, but they're holding on to that moisture as well, so it feels more humid there. And you can see that perfectly by our dew point. We have 72 in Miami, 70 in Key West. Anytime you're above 70 degrees, that's really humid and really muggy and just doesn't feel very comfortable, but it's very typical for South Florida this time of year. Here are our winds right now. We have winds coming out of the northeast in areas behind the front. So places like Tallahassee, even places in Tampa and Orlando, they're much cooler and drier, but South Florida is still getting that onshore flow in Miami that's pulling in that moisture and bringing them just a few showers. Here's what's happening though for the next couple of days. Tonight, very cool. Winds will still be out of the northeast. That's pulling in some cooler air from the north, but things are going to start to change come tomorrow. Winds will be shifting more out of the east. That's going to pull in a little bit more moisture, but we also have a little disturbance in the upper levels of the atmosphere. Nothing overwhelming, but it could squeeze out a few isolated sprinkles, especially in the afternoon. Here's our Futurecast radar. This is just giving you an idea of when and where you can see the rain. Really, biggest chance for rain is still in South Florida and along the eastern coast of the peninsula. Here it kind of shows us a little bit of green. Like I said, most likely it's just going to be a sprinkle. What you're going to notice when you step outside tomorrow are the clouds and a little bit more moisture, so not quite as beautiful as what we saw today. If you're going to the beach or going boating, though, we do have some gusty winds out there that could bring our seas up to 5 feet at times. So because of that, small crafts are advised to exercise caution if they're going to be out on the water. Otherwise, a light to moderate chop throughout most of the day with a sunset at 5:38 p.m. Tonight, 66 degrees in Tampa, much cooler in North Florida. Look at that temperature gradient, 70 South Florida, 40s in North Florida. So we're the lucky ones feeling a little bit more like fall. Tomorrow, warming up to 69 degrees. Much more clouds for tomorrow, and then South Florida still seeing the rain due to that stalled out front in Fort Myers. But now it's time to take things out and check out the national forecast with Troy.
Already thinking, Aaron, and we're not the only region in the country that is seeing a lot cooler conditions. As you look ahead across much of the lower 48, pretty much most of the entire eastern sections of the United States is enjoying these cooler conditions. Of course, 61 degrees in Orland, but as you note, most of the coldness is confined towards the northeast, 36 degrees for the good city of Detroit. So, you know, lots of cooler conditions as a result of the cold front that's passed on through the East Coast. And just to give you a good idea of how much temperatures have changed over the past 24 hours, look at that. Look at all this blue indicated across the East Coast. That means that temperatures have changed anywhere from 10 to 15 degrees from where we were this time yesterday. So really, all in all, just a much cooler day across much of the eastern United States. And as we look ahead at your current wind chills, you can see that most of the coldness, you know, wind chill, by the way, is, you know, when you get winds that's blowing on you, your actual temperature of the winds makes it feel, you know, much cooler than they actually are. And you can see that wind chills are in the 30s across the northern section. It's going 32 for wind chill in Detroit and 29 for wind chill in Boston. So for the most part, things are looking very chilly across parts of the Northeast. And just to give you an idea how our weather is playing out across much of the United States, you can see we do have a little bit of upper level low disturbance that is moving on across Tennessee, and so fortunately not, you know, too strong right now, but just a little bit of extra energy in the atmosphere. But our next weather player is located in the northwest, where our next storm system is coming into view, and that will be our major influence to the weather heading into late this week and early next week. But as far as what's going on across the northwest right now, we do have some watches and warnings to tell you about. Where you see these warnings in blue, that is a winter weather advisory, and that just means that we do have the possibility of seeing just a little bit of extra snow showers and a little bit of accumulation of snow in the higher elevations in the northwest. And just to give you a good idea what's going to be happening over there as we zoom in across the northwest, you see a little bit of precipitation, which means that it's not just, you know, rain. It could be in the form of rain, snow, freezing rain, etc. And you can see a little bit of indicated by these blue, you know, we have some snow showers in the higher elevations around the Cascades and even the Rocky Mountains. So the higher up you go in elevation, you know, the more better chance you have at seeing a more significant snowfall. You could see anywhere between 1 to 2 feet in the higher elevations. So if you're traveling along, you know, the Rockies, especially if you have any plans going skiing, you know, you're going to want to stay tuned and, you know, check your local weather authorities for that. But we have some snow showers in the northeast and up in New England, but for the most part, not looking too shabby over there. And zooming across the southeast, there's some extra cloud cover in the Gulf of Mexico, but for the time being, we're high and dry along I-10. So if you're traveling on there, travels are looking quite well for the time being. But as far as your tonight's forecast is concerned, lots of coldness across the East Coast. Once again, 29 degrees for, you know, overnight temperature in Detroit. And as we look ahead at tomorrow's forecast, and more of the same, you know, more coldness in store for the southeast, 50s for the southeast, but a little bit cooler out towards the northeast. But let's throw it back up to the desk with Jay and Casey.
Thanks so much, Troy. Now let's go ahead and talk about some flooding in parts of Sardinia, in parts of Rome.
Yes, the Mediterranean island of Sardinia has gotten some very traumatic impact on their area. They had a flood recently, earlier on today, that caused the premier president there, Enrico Letta, declared a state of emergency for that part of Rome.
Absolutely, and he set aside $24 million for emergency relief, a very serious situation in that part of the world. More than 17 inches of rain in just 24 hours on Monday. That's half the amount that it normally receives in a whole year, in fact. Serious flooding caused there. But right now, we'll go ahead and take it over to Melanie with the third local forecast.
Thank you, Casey. As you can see here on our satellite, our area was pretty clear for the most part. We just have a little clouds from the upper level, but that's not really going to affect us precipitation-wise. Here for the satellite and radar, this is our cold front that just moved out of our area, and here are the clouds from the upper level disturbance. For our current conditions, it's 64 currently, and there's clear conditions. Our humidity was relatively low today at 45, so that was a nice break compared to yesterday. Our current temperatures, it's 64 in Tallahassee, 57 over here in Quincy, 59 over here in Mariana, and just low to mid 60s and high 50s across the board. For our futurecast, this was a high pressure system, and it's just bringing in all this cool air. As this moves away from us starting tomorrow, we're going to be getting more easterly flow, and that's just going to be bringing in more clouds, and there is a potential chance for some isolated sprinkles. For our future radar, for the east coast of Florida, there's just some precipitation, but there's not really much in our area, which is looking good for us. For tonight's forecast, it's 47 degrees, and we still have some of the clouds, and our temperatures are cooler compared to what we've been seeing. Tomorrow's forecast, it's 70 degrees, and we have a 20% chance of rain. So bring your umbrellas just in case there's some few isolated showers. For our day planner, at 8 a.m. for your morning commute, it's going to be a little chilly, so make sure you have your jacket. And tomorrow noon, right around lunchtime, it's going to be 61 and breezy. And for our 5 o'clock on your commute home, it's going to be 66. So the temperatures are staying relatively cool all day. For our beach forecast, the surf is at 2 to 4 feet, and our UV index is at 2, so it's relatively low. But the winds are pretty high at 10 to 20 miles per hour. So there is a small craft advisory, so exercise caution if you plan on going boating tomorrow. There's a light to moderate chop, and the surf is 2 to 5 feet. For our 7-day forecast, starting tomorrow, our rain chances pick up just a little bit, and the clouds start to increase. And once we reach Monday of next week, the clouds are going to start clearing out, and the precipitation chances are starting to diminish. Our lows, look at that, just some high 50s, low 40s, starting to feel some of those fall temperatures again. Then midweek we get high 70s, and then starting Sunday when the next cold front starts to come through, we're going to be feeling those seasonable temperatures at the 50s and the 60s. Now let's take it back to the desk.
Thanks, Millie, and big congratulations to you and Bianca on tonight. Your very first weathercast. On behalf of the weather team, we're very proud of both of you.
Absolutely. Now let's go ahead and talk about the football game for FSU this coming Saturday. The Florida State Seminoles will be playing Idaho, and the Seminoles, who are 10-0 in fact, will be playing 1-9 Idaho. That game at 3:30 on Saturday at Doak Campbell Stadium at Bobby Bowden Field. We're expecting conditions there around kickoff to be in the low 70s, right, Jay?
Yes, indeed. We're also expecting a big rain chance, 30% chance of rain on Saturday. So even though you might be wearing the game gear, remember their umbrella's not in the stadium, so make sure you have little ponchos handy just in case. If you are going tailgating, on the other hand, you might want to bring an umbrella and, like I said, a poncho beforehand. And make sure you stay prepared and stay tuned to our channel for more on the updates for the weather.
Absolutely. It's better to be safe there because you don't want to get wet. You could potentially catch a cold, so a very serious situation there, in fact. Now we are going to be looking at here some cooler conditions move their way into the area over the next few days. Not quite yet, but we will watch that, and if we see our 7-day forecast here, temperatures over the next few days will be warming up, but then we will see a blast of cool air by the end of the week into early next week, in fact.
Yes, but for the weekend, on the other hand, we're not going to expect much of cooler air because we're going to be cheering on our Noles. I know I got pretty fired up, staying nice and warm throughout the entire game. I know most of the Seminoles did as well.
Absolutely, warm conditions there, but then we'll be looking at that sprinkles tomorrow, in fact. But as we take a look, make sure you like us on Facebook.com/FSU Weather. Also, you can follow us on Twitter.com/FSU Weather, and you can watch us anytime at Livestream.com/FSU Weather. I'm Casey Cloud.
And I'm city meteorologist Jay Kimball. Have a great night, Tallahassee.